Hello and welcome to episode 8 of TBH with Wooly and Jake.
It's him.
Oh, mate, that came out. That came out like hot, warm custard. That did.
EP008, keen to get to double digits.
Oh, mate.
Only a couple off.
Yeah, today's the 1st of April, May, right?
Yep.
We've done 8 episodes, and that equates to 2 every 2 weeks. We're on track, bro.
Smashing it.
We're killing it. Today's episode, we talked about inner monologue.
Yeah. Internal monologues, digestions, thought processes, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So the world around you that is described to you, by you, for you.
And no one listens to it but yourself.
We all try. I mean, that is a strange. You know, another thing, you were the only person who doesn't see your own eyes, but that's what you see everything with.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Is that a crazy thought or what?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's the only thing you can't see.
Yeah.
Maybe your nose, unless you got a really big nose like me.
I can see one.
Yeah, in your tongue. Anyway, we're off topic, but that's what the episode was about, guys.
Enjoy it.
It was a crispy one. Cheers.
Bye.
Hello and welcome to episode 8 of TBH with Wooly and Jake.
Wooly and Jake, back in the chair.
I love that rhyme. Yeah, bro. I missed you last week.
Yeah.
Had a good episode of Landy, but it was pretty good.
It's good.
Have you watched it yet? It's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm not up to speed with the episodes.
That's all right, mate.
Last thing I'll listen is myself talk shit because
Yeah, it's hard, eh?
it's pretty confronting when you've got to listen to yourself. But
Yeah.
anyway, I should probably listen to it more. I might be able to learn about what annoys people when I speak.
Oh, it's been so good for like hearing what words you say over and over again, like when you get like a bit nervous or something, and
on words or whatever.
yeah, and you just
helps you be a bit more articulate.
yeah. I mean, we're 8 episodes in now, and I still haven't fixed anything, but it's a bit like my golf swing, mate. A bit hit and miss.
Yeah, change one thing and ruin another.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But if you guys are listening to this episode and you've listened to all 8 of them, yeah, you just deserve a medal because even we haven't listened to our own podcast.
Yeah, we'll have to get some merch or something happening for anyone that's a keen listener that wants a T-shirt or something like that.
I'm pretty keen.
Yeah.
We actually had a comment on one of the videos a couple of weeks ago. Some random subscriber had like 200k subs or something. He's like, "Oh, listen to the podcast, really enjoyed it." And I was like,
"Awesome,
that's pretty cool."
Yeah.
Whether he just did it for the follow back or something, but who cares? It was good. It was a good comment.
Awesome.
Today's episode is about inner monologue, inner stories,
internal monologuing.
Yeah.
How your brain works.
How your brain works. How what you describe. How your everyday life is described to you.
Yeah.
And I was interested by how you said that you don't have a lot of internal chatter.
Yeah. So to preface the conversation, we have discussed this partially. It was something that I wanted to save until we spoke about it, just to get like your honest reaction.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it at length over that board game the other night.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah. No, it's a really interesting thing because it's something that you don't sort of realize is how people think.
You don't think about, but you do think about.
Yeah, you
all
think
the time.
you think about how people think, but you don't actually think the process of how they think. So, it all kicked off when you told me about some show on Netflix called Beastars, that animal one. Now I watch a lot of anime and stuff like that, and weird and wonderful TV shows. That's a weird and wonderful TV show if I've ever seen one. But it was just like excessive internal monologue with the characters. Like
that was a snapshot into how my brain operates all day.
Yeah, so like I mean, there was more conversation with internal monologue than what there actually was of them talking out aloud.
Yeah.
And it just blew my mind because it's something that I, until that point, hadn't thought all that deeply into. But I've sort of sat there watching it, wondering, is this how people actually think? And I brought it up with yourself, and like you said, that is how you think.
Yeah, and I was like, what do you mean? Like, isn't that everyone? And you're like, no. I'm like, what? And then since then, I've been asking people, and everyone's sort of got a different view take on it. Like some people say that's like why people are so anxious, or it could be like, what's the opposite anxious? Like depression almost, like that internal chatter that, really describing and like predicting the future almost.
Yeah,
that's how I sort of see it.
Predicting your own future. The more you internalize thoughts, the more likely they are to come true. If you think, stand over a golf ball, I'm going to shank this, chances are you're probably going to shank it. So it's sort of the same thing. You know, if you sit there and think, oh, this person thinks I suck, this person thinks I suck, and that's all you think about, chances are they're going to be like, oh, this person doesn't want to talk to me. What's his body language? What's his thought process?
Yeah.
He sucks. I don't want to be around this guy. So
it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. Like you're projecting your own thoughts and feelings onto someone, back onto yourself in a way.
Yeah.
And it's something that I struggle with a lot. Like, you know, even just driving home in the car before, my brain's going 4 different directions. Like, oh, what happened if this car turned over to here right now? What would we do? And I'm just making up scenarios in my head for no reason. Like,
that's got to take some energy.
Yeah, but it's just me, man. I can't turn it off, you know. And it was super hard growing up because, you know, being a hormonal teenager and constantly wondering what this person's thinking of me, or, you know, like what happens if this happens? What if? And it's just constantly. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's why I get such a hard on for meditation, because it really just
narrows that down.
Yeah, shuts it all down, man. It's like I'm sitting on the edge of a river and just watching like logs float by or something, you know, like that's how I sort of picture it. But man, I was blown away when you just like, you know, you don't describe the world around you as you're living it.
No,
you're just sort of in the.
I don't know whether I'm in the minority or not when it comes to that, but yeah, like we sort of discussed the other day, you know, it's not something that if I'm having a conversation with someone, I'm not thinking about what they're thinking about, if that makes sense. So us having a conversation, I'm not thinking about what you're saying or what you could say if I say something, which is a blessing and a curse, because I can have really good thought-provoking, in-the-moment discussions, but I can also say shit that might piss people off. So I can seem, obviously my close friends know that it's not arrogance, it's just the way I am.
Yeah.
But it can seem arrogant in some ways because there's no filter there. I don't internally digest anything before I spit it out. It just comes out.
I think it's just a sudden change in conversation that can occur, and it throws me off guard. I know for a fact sometimes, and I'm just like, hang on, no, that's not where the conversation was going. I'm like 6 steps ahead of you, bro. What are you doing? Like,
you're already thinking about what to say.
Yeah,
that's probably something that I've tried to focus on, especially with my last position for work, was listening to people to understand where they're coming from rather than listening to them to just react. Yeah. You know, a lot of
trying to figure out where their end goal is in the conversation.
Yeah, and you can dodge so much bullshit by just listening to a person and not listening to have something to say back to them. Yeah. Just, you know, hearing their side of the story. Yeah. You know, it makes a big difference in conversation, I feel, anyway.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not even about what they're saying, it's like how they're saying it, or like or how. Maybe it's how it makes me feel about a conversation. Like you might be talking about cars or something, and I might, you know, hear like an underlying, or I might feel like an underlying tone there. So I might try and ask a question like, sort of car related, but trying to steer it in a different direction. Yep. And that could just be my understanding of where I think you're trying to lead, or where your heart's trying to take the conversation. You know, I think I get lost in my head and my heart, like which, you know, my heart's got an agenda and my brain's got its own agenda as well, and trying to align those two things. And I think that's where most of the struggle comes to me.
Yeah, and you know, you say that, like I speak with a lot of passion when I speak to friends and that sort of stuff too, because there's no hidden agenda with any of it. It's sort of all out on the table. I don't sort of try and hide any cards. Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit different when I don't know people, but with my close friends and family, it's pretty upfront.
What about in like a work situation? So you're tinkering away. You know, you're not really. Is your mind not really wandering off onto like, you know, a conversation with someone, or you know what you're doing later in the day, or you know, are you seeing it with your mind's eye, or like?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I can have a bit of a daydream, you know, sort of thinking about stuff, but it's not very often. Most of the time, I'm sort of in the moment with what
really focused on your work.
Yeah, and it's good and it's bad. I can go down the rabbit hole with what I'm doing though. Like if I'm currently doing something, I'm thinking 20 steps ahead of what's coming next, so that I know if I've got to go to my tool bag in an hour's time, I'm going to need this tool. I already grabbed that 10 mil out, or that soldering iron out, or whatever I need to have in an hour's time or half an hour's time. You know, I'm sort of thinking ahead on what I'm doing with the job. It sort of doesn't really tend to wander too much. Yeah. Mainly, most of my daydreaming will come through music. I'm really bad with music association and people and times and moments and stuff like that. So a lot of the time, if I do have an internal monologue about something or I internally digest stuff, it'll be related to music. So like at a certain
whatever
time,
you're listening to.
Yeah, like I can listen to songs that remind me of people and places and times and events and stuff like that, you know. So So like say if you show me a song, I'll forever
you've got an
listen to that song and think about when you showed me that song, if that makes sense. And then I'll think about you. So like Eden, drugs, always think about you and I cruising around in Nauru together.
Actually, I just got chills then, man.
So
I remember that.
Every time I listen to Drugs by Eden, I think about you.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's sort of lots of stuff like that.
Yeah.
That my brain works weird.
Yeah, I get that through.
Different.
I get that with like images and stuff. So I'll see like I might see a flower or something, say for instance, and same thing. I'll associate that with another time that I saw a flower with another person.
Yeah. Okay.
And then my brain will go off on a massive tangent. You know, like, oh, what's that person up to now? Oh, what was our last interaction like? Da 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 da. And then I'll think of something else, and then it webs over to here, and then I'm like, what was I thinking about?
Yep.
And I get it bad when I'm driving home from work.
Yeah.
Like there's days where I get in the car and then I get home and I'm like, I don't remember driving like a single stretch of road, or it's just completely automatic. And actually, with music as well. Yeah, playing music in the car. Do you find yourself daydreaming a lot doing that?
Yeah. Some songs I won't associate with people or times or anything like that. So I will have a bit of a daydream listening to music sometimes.
Have you ever noticed that some music like you're listening to will put you in a bad mood as well? Like if it's the wrong kind of music?
I feel like music's sort of like alcohol, where it's a mood enhancer.
Yeah.
So depending on the mood I'm in,
a good song can change a room.
Yeah.
Or it can change. Like I suppose in the clubbing days, a good song comes on and the whole place just comes alive. Like
all over that. So
I was interested the other day too when you said like you don't dream much either.
No,
and I think that's might have something to do with your internal monologue. Like you're probably single focused. So
in sort of what we had a discussion about too. The only time I do really get a lot of internal monologue is when I smoke marijuana. So if I'm high, that's the time where I become super hot, like self-critical. So my mind starts to look back on itself, and being so single-minded and not internally digesting stuff, I can easily put stuff in the back of my mind and pretend that it's not there. So like stress, anxiety, depression, stuff like that's not something that I really have trouble with. There has to be a really, really shit point in my life for that to affect me.
Yeah.
It can affect me slightly, but, I can still go on with my day and do everything.
Yeah.
More so than what other people probably could. But then it's also stuff where like I can walk past the dishes in the sink, and put that in the back of the mind, and I'm not thinking about that because I don't internally digest, oh fuck, I need to do the dishes. But if I get high, I can't. My internal monologue is way too loud. Yeah, my mind it's like
it can't file it away until it's hang on, mate, you remember this? This?
And it's crazy. It blows me away, like how hypercritical I can be with myself in those situations where I'm like, fuck, I need to do those dishes. And then I'll start doing the dishes, and then I'm like, shit, there's some washing that needs to be done. I better do that. And before I know it, I've torn the whole house apart.
Yeah.
Just trying to get shit done.
Or because you were looking for a spare roll of toilet paper or something.
Yeah. So, sort of weird.
How much have you changed? Like, do you give yourself like pep talks, at all? Like if you, I know we've talked about this like a couple of years ago where I've really changed, like say you have a stuff up at work and you really, you go down on yourself and you go, oh, you fuckhead, like why did you do that? And like you start questioning yourself and like pointing a finger at yourself.
Yeah.
How have you sort of, like, do you notice when you do that to yourself, and do you like jump on it and change it?
Sort of, I become hypercritical if I make a mistake. It sort of pulls me out of that single-minded state, and then I become hypercritical. I'm like, fuck, you're an idiot. You shouldn't have done that. Why'd you do that like that? That's just stupid. That was, that was avoidable. You could have done this better, or you could have handled that better. I just try not to dwell on it too much because, there's punishing yourself for making a mistake, and then there's being over overcritical of yourself, which
it can roll over and waterfall and ruin the whole rest of your day, week, month, year,
and you can just compound it. You make another mistake because you're still thinking about the last one that you made. And I've seen it in people before where they'll make a mistake and then, they get the shits, and then they continue to make blunder after blunder because they're still thinking about the original mistake, and then it just snowballs. So.
I see it now as I extend the same courtesy to other people, you wouldn't sit there and berate someone for the whole rest of the day for making a mistake. So why would you do it to yourself?
Yeah.
And that was a massive revelation for me. Like when someone, I saw a video or something about it and it didn't really click. Yeah. And I kept seeing videos pop up about it and talk to people. And then, I've never had a day where someone's just berated me all day.
No. And
then go, well, why would you do it to yourself?
Everyone's human at the end of the day too.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes. So no one, don't get me wrong, there probably some people out there that are that mean and have that much malice in them, but
is there but?
I feel like there is.
Do people wake up and have that intention to?
I think the people that
I want to hurt someone today. I
think the people that are like that are hurting themselves.
Yeah,
and they just lash out because
it's just a straight reflection.
Yeah, they're just projecting their own pain onto someone else essentially to try and ease theirs. But no one ever feels good about getting up someone for doing something like. In a position of leadership, I've never felt good about yelling at someone or telling them off or telling them what they did was wrong. It never feels nice, So those people that are out there that are like that every day, they're just projecting their own shit that they can't handle.
I think everyone's looking for some sort of harmony, whether it's with themselves or with other people. But I think I'm just fascinated to people that are always self-critical, and it irks me. Like I really want to know what happened to you to get to that point. Don't get me wrong, I've been an arsehole plenty of times in my life, but it's not my whole agenda, I haven't spent years being that person.
You don't wake up how am I going to get shitty at today? Yeah,
how many failed marriages or bust ups or people hurting you, or what has to happen to get to that stage, and what do you do to get out of it?
And don't get me wrong, life can be pretty shitty. For everyone.
Yeah.
I sort of take on the position that...
Well, that's right. We've been living with rose-tinted glasses in reality compared to some people.
Yeah, some people have it a whole lot worse than us. We're pretty fortunate. So
But some people have it better and don't have that, are just as shitty as the people who have it really bad.
Yeah. So but you never know, but...
True.
You might look at someone and think, they're doing really well. They got a nice car, they got a nice house, they got a beautiful wife, but who knows what's going on behind
kids,
the scenes. And the funny thing about depression and anxiety and that sort of stuff, it's all chemical. It's, you could have everything you ever wanted and still be depressed. I've been listening to a lot of Mac Miller lately.
Yeah.
And there's a guy that had everything and still OD'd.
Yeah.
A guy that just couldn't find happiness and he had everything that he could have ever wanted, So you never know what anyone's going through. So it's always just pays to...
I suppose, that being chemical, it's not prejudice, no one's immune, no one's...
No, exactly.
Yeah. It just sucks, man. I really want to... it just makes me want to go out and do something, I don't like walking around and seeing people so hard on themselves for no reason.
And I mean...
Because we've all come from that place of pain, and just to see someone else in it is just...
Yeah, it's something that I've been doing a lot of probably for the last 6 months now, is trying to be super overly polite to people. Just, especially with the way the world is at the moment, going into the grocery store, I'm always so thankful.
Yeah.
Always, as I'm walking out, thank you so much for doing your job. I really appreciate it, because those people, they're working at a time, they're doing a shitty paying job that's, I'm sure can't be that enjoyable. I've worked in the deli and Woolworths before. I didn't enjoy it a whole lot. I didn't enjoy it half as much as what I do now. So, those people are out there working every day, working their ass off so that we all have food. So every time I leave the store, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're here. Appreciate everything you do. Even if I'm just getting a coffee from someone, and that person could be having the shittest day, but giving them a smile and being thankful and appreciative, they can feel it, I feel like.
Yeah. You can definitely feel when someone's being genuine.
Yeah.
Even if you're in a really bad place, you can, even if someone's been really genuine, you're in a really bad place, it's like a shining a light on how crappy and unresponsive to humanity, I guess.
Yeah, like there's people out there whinging that they can't get, like, why don't you have this bread? Why don't you have milk?
Yeah.
Why don't you have toilet paper?
Yeah.
Who cares?
It really irks me, eh?
Yeah, like who cares? It's not this 16-year-old chick that's standing at the checkout. Like she's not the one that's ordering the toilet paper for Coles.
Yeah.
Why are you so mad at them?
Yeah.
Like it's the same as like I used to get it working in a bar. People would get mad. What do you mean you run out of 4X? Sorry, mate.
Yeah.
Or what do you mean it's $5 a schooner now? Sorry, mate. Like, it's amazing how rude some people can be.
That's what I mean. What does it take to get to that place? Like it's not the beer. It's got nothing to do with not being able to get a 4X beer, I feel like it could be anything. If it wasn't that, there'd be the next thing like, oh, why is it in that sort of glass? Or like,
Oh, it used to blow my mind to see people at the pub on a Saturday and they're angry before they walk in the door, like you're at the pub on the weekend.
Yeah.
What do you got to be mad about? I'd love to be at the pub right now having a beer. Like, that sounds amazing, but yet people...
I haven't drunk for 11 months and that sounds pretty good,
Or even just at the pub with your mates. Like, you see these people when I was working in a bar and they'd be with their friends at a bar. Like, what do you got to be mad about? Yeah. You got your health, you got money because you can be out at the pub drinking.
Yeah.
And you got friends.
Do you think they've just shut off from themselves so much that they can only see what's out in the world and that's their reality? Like there is possibly no internal.
Yeah, possibly.
Do you think there's like people that just aren't like it's there, but there's just a big wall built up there?
I think a lot of people aren't in touch with themselves. Yeah. If that's what you mean.
Do you think that's a big shift in the next generation? Like I feel like a lot of people our age are like, or are getting that way. Like everything I see is just, get in touch with yourself and,
and it's become a lot
yoga more, and friggin' meditating and being nice to each other, like,
and taking a day because you have anxiety or depression off work, like a mental stress day. That never used to be a thing. Could you imagine doing that as an apprentice? Like a mental health day. I need to check you out today. I'm not feeling great. What do you mean? What's wrong with you? Like, I know I couldn't. Like, that was not an option.
Yeah.
I was doing my trade. If I rang up my boss and said, "Hey, I'm sad today. I don't want to come in," he'd be like, "The fuck's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a thing now that
definitely
that people are in that position where they can say, "Hey, look, I'm not doing so great. I need a couple of days," and not be judged on it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that's becoming more prevalent in the media and that sort of stuff.
Yeah. I feel like it's a big shift, man. Like I know I've said it to a few people now, like, we've all been asking for change in the world, and then, this virus comes along and it's not the change we wanted, but like this could be a amazing foundation for how we treat each other. Like everyone just seems a bit more friendlier lately.
Yeah,
just that touch.
A little bit more, in touch with how they're feeling too. Yeah. I'd sort of been thinking more about the like if I was at school right now, I'd be thinking about doing virology or epidemia science or there's so many of these career paths now that it seems like, well, why haven't we been paying for more kids to learn about diseases and epidemics and that sort of stuff? There's courses there, but it's never seemed like it's like the flu's been around for how long. And it's always just a thing. Like you get last year's flu. Like the flu shot's last year's flu.
Last year's flu, yeah.
They're never really fixing it. And the flu has, like, don't get me wrong, COVID's terrible, but the flu kills so many people every year, but it's just something that we just deal with. If we can put all this time, effort, money and resources into what we're doing at the moment, why can't we do that for more study of science and health and well-being for people?
Yeah.
So I sort of look at it like that, where, the future generation now have this awesome opportunity to look into different job prospects and stuff that is relevant and should be more relevant.
Well, I mean, there'd be nothing more safe because, with so much automation that's going to be in the next 10 to 15, 20, 30, 50 years, like we're not going to have checkout people. We're not going to have, people stacking shelves, it's, and like, there's jobs that'll be lost, but I think it'll just open up more opportunities for stuff like that to be studied because, like stuff like psychology, you can never have an AI robot that's going to be a psychologist. No,
you just not going to happen. Yeah.
Like it's just impossible, all this space stuff. Like it's, truck driving and like all those blue collar jobs might become minimalist, but if they somehow work out a universal currency and income and stuff, people will have the opportunity to study and that's what I think is what's good that's going to come from this. Like, it's going to open, like, yes, people are dying. Yes, infection's bad. You know, no world traveling.
Yep.
But there's things that we can do.
Yeah, yeah. It's opened up a whole lot of opportunity for people, I feel.
You know, they think it's going to take 50 years to get back to where we are now. And it's like, well, do we really want to get back to that same spot, you know?
Yeah, kind of feel you on that one.
Do we really want to go back to, you know, like unnecessary waste and
the constant rat race?
The rat race, yeah. That's what I'm getting at.
The biggest thing for me at the moment is the money that I've been saving.
Ridiculous.
It's like, I wouldn't have thought it's a thing, but everything materialistic just seems so not worth it at the moment, right? And it's great. Like, yeah, it might be bad for businesses.
When was the last bit of clothing you bought?
I couldn't even tell you. It was before the epidemic started.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, do we really need shopping centres with all this retail stuff and everything's online? Like,
yeah.
And again, it's bad for people that own those sort of businesses, but, you know, you have to adapt and survive, you know.
Yeah, there's great opportunities out there.
Yeah, there's more opportunity, really. Like, close your shop down, you save how much money in rent.
Yeah.
Have it online, work from home.
And all these big super centres that we air condition and burn up power and resources to keep the lights on and the air cold, just to cram people into them to buy clothes.
Like, yeah, it's nice to, you know, like today we went out and had a look at some furniture for a new desk for inside, but I can browse online. You know, just have massive warehouses and the stuff gets shipped and picked.
It's
I know it makes me think, like, we're on a really weird, like, teetering, balancing knife's edge at the moment, and which way we fall is, you know, a bit outside of our control. But
just gotta make
I'm excited.
Of a bad situation.
Yeah. So, you know, all the more important to have, you know, to be on top of your internal monologue, and you know, it's so easy to get swept up in what the world's doing and what
your friends are doing.
Yeah.
I've been staying a lot off Facebook and that sort of stuff too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy shit out there, man. I've unfollowed people that have been spouting off about 5G and that's what's killing people. Oh man, I'm just switching that shit off because, you know, who cares what conspiracy theories are true and all that sort of shit. It's not good for your health to be going down rabbit holes for hours on end looking up shit that's all biased opinions and putting that sort of shit in your head's never going to do you any good. You may as well just live in what's going on right now.
Yeah, focus
look after your mental health and focus on yourself rather than what everyone else is doing. So
I feel like you can find more truth within yourself than, you know, in any textbook or any internet page or, you know, any Facebook status. You know, there's this, you know, and when I talk about truth, I don't mean like, you know, some fact, but just like, you know, truth about an opinion or how you feel on something, or, you know, like that's when I speak about truth, that's what I mean. Like what's right to me, you know, what is really right, you know, what is true. And it gets me upset.
trying to steer clear of the COVID stuff too much, but a bit hard to at the moment.
It was actually interesting last week. Lance was saying about like she's got really free will of what she teaches in a classroom, so she teaches her kids mindfulness.
Oh, awesome!
And I thought, mate,
so cool.
Like, you know, doing something so young, and she goes from where they started to now in 3 months is crazy. Yeah. And I just think, like, well, if I had had that back in the day, maybe I wouldn't have been so anxious. You know,
mindfulness when a kid was terrible, man. I had no idea of what kind of concept the real world was. And I suppose it's coming from a family that wasn't in struggle or never had to worry about ends meet or never had to worry about food on the table. It was always there. And, you know, we've spoken about this before and how fortunate we are, but
we're designed to solve problems. So if we don't have any, we'll make our own.
Yeah. I think mindfulness is great for kids to learn. Like I had no idea what I want to do for work or anything like that. I had no idea what work was or what life was even really about until I left school. And then I was like, oh, fuck, this is a bit shit, isn't it?
Mate, I was always just worried about which way my hair was sitting, or, you know,
I was the same, you know, so
I didn't have any focus, no goal, no.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go to school to meet people. And
oh, mate, I went to do PE and
literally,
eat my lunch.
You know, but, you know, to hear her say that her kids look forward to the mindfulness, you know, it's their favourite part of the day. It's like,
well, even she was telling me the other day that she did where should Mrs. Shaw go on her next holiday, and that was a writing essay that she gave to her class, and one of the kids wrote in, I I think maybe you should pick where you want to go on your next holiday, because if you pick one of the students, then the other students might get upset. And that's amazing to hear that her kids could even think about that sort of thing.
Crazy.
Yeah, like to hear about a young mind that's already thinking like that is awesome.
Yeah.
So
like more worried about the other person than their own, you know, like just wanting, because that's what it is. Like, you know, like, you know, you don't want to take away competition because, you know, you get better through competition. But, you know, if you're thinking about the other people too, you know, like, you know, you see the races where the old mate's fallen down and they've stopped to go pick him up. You know, like there's something bigger at the end of the day than just.
And there's a time and place for competition too. I'm sort of in a bad boat where I make everything a competition, but you know, there's
enjoyment in that, but
yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's a time and place for competition. I don't think there should be a attendance award for, you know, playing a game of basketball and losing. You know, I feel like if you're going to play a competition, you're going to play a competition.
Yeah. Well, losing builds character, you know, like you don't get better. That's what I mean. If everyone gets a medal, then it's like,
well, what do you even try for?
Yeah.
What's the point? Yeah.
But when it comes to kids and opinions, I think, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And when, Ash told me that the other day, that she's talking to Lance about that, it blew my mind. I was like, that's so awesome. I want to meet this kid.
Done deal.
Yeah, that was good. I'm definitely keen to get another mic and get some people on. I had a bit of a chat with Travis yesterday.
Yeah.
From Focus Gym.
Yeah.
He's real keen to jump on a podcast with us and talk about some stuff. So we'll try and maybe organise that for our next one.
All right.
Get an extra guest on. And
done deal. Where are we going to do it, mate? Just set up another mic coming off there or something and just have two cameras set up?
Either in here or we can just take the podcast gear and just go into his office into the gym. Gyms are shut at the moment anyway, so he's got a nice big office out the back that the three of us can sit in and have a good chat about some stuff. And
all right, we'll tee it off.
Yeah,
it's definitely good to you know, have an agenda and you know, the people out there that have the good stories. You know, like there's only so much that we know from our own experiences, and you know, we're banging to the old tune.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always trying to pick up new concepts on life and you know, that internal monologue thing like that. Yeah, that's something that I've sort of been putting in the forefront of all my thoughts now, is not trying to internally digest stuff, but trying to sort of.
You're just trying to be more aware, take more in, like try and.
Yeah, just trying to take a step back from some stuff sometimes, you know, and not just blurt shit out and maybe offend people, but just.
I was always explained it's like an iceberg, bro. So I'll just say like awareness. So what we're aware of is the tip of the iceberg. Yeah. But you know, 80% of it is, you know, is the subconscious they're still taking in all the information. So like, but we're only aware of like say 2,000 bits of like 1 million bits of information.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to unlock more of that, but I'm trying to always like, whether it's be more aware of, you know, what I'm saying that's affecting someone else, you know, like, and if, you know, just picking up on when someone's not engaged in what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, you know, instead of me getting shitty, I'll try and change the conversation to more suit them.
Yeah.
Just stuff like that.
Bring it back onto them. What do they want to talk about?
Yeah. Because like I said, it's not about what's being said. It's about how. It's about how you're interacting with someone.
Yeah. And some people can't engage in a discussion if it's not something that they're interested in. I know you're one for that. If you're not, if you're on an intimate conversation, it's like talking to a brick wall. Nothing wrong with that. Like, I like how blunt it is.
I've just got nothing to say. Like, I'm completely honest about it. Hey.
Yeah. So, you know, that.
I didn't think you'd picked up on that, you bastard.
Yeah, so that's sort of when I know I'm talking shit again. Willie doesn't really care. I need to start talking about this. But, you know, we still have great conversations about the weirdest shit. And, you know, I know when you're engaged in a conversation and I know when you're not. So it sort of helps me determine, you know, how you're feeling about where we're at. And what sort of mood you're in and being able to pick up on that sort of stuff. It's obviously a bit more.
It's so hard at the moment, man. Even this morning, like I knew you really, like we all wanted to play golf together and it was just like, without blatantly saying like, mate, it's not happening. Like I couldn't let you, like I was trying to let you down, but not at the same time. And you get stuck in this weird place of like.
Being halfway between.
Yeah.
It's all right.
It's like, it's just not happening, mate.
It's all good, mate. Still got to go for a hit. Put my headphones in.
I seen that, I yelled out to you and I was like 30 metres away and I was like, oi, Jake, did you see my ball? Jake, Jake, and you just did not budge. And I'm like, you asshole.
Yeah, and I was listening to some Mac.
Yeah.
Been loving it lately, so.
And I went to work and I said, he just blatantly ignored me. He's like, he's got headphones in, bro.
Yeah,
I'm like,
because Warwick tried to talk to me too, and I was like, huh? No, it's good. And yeah, music on the golf course was nice to.
Yeah. While you were swinging as well?
Yeah. I was even talking to, I rang Dylan while I was playing as well. And played a whole hole just while I was having a convo.
Shout out to Dylan, getting married today.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow's okay.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, so today's like a setting up practice.
Yeah, so we're gonna go set up
and
practice the Zoom conference and make sure it's all gonna work properly, so that
very cool.
So that make sure everything runs smoothly for him.
Righto.
I was gonna have a chat to you about I read something really, really awesome. I think I may have brought it up the other night too when we had our discussion when we were playing board games about the
pandemic.
Yeah, when we were playing our pandemic.
And just so happened that the disease had spread from China. Could not have written it better ourselves. Yeah, it was hilarious. It was something that I'd read on Reddit that was really awesome. It was from a psychiatrist. Yeah.
And it was about the ask mentality, where I thought I brought it up with us the other day. The whole concept of ask mentality versus
I'll still ask. Are you saying? I'll ask.
Ask mentality. Yeah. So asking or what was the other side of it? There's people that will just ask a question, know that they'll get a no, or that it's a possibility to get a no, and then there's people that won't ask a question unless they know they're going to get a yes.
Okay.
It's like a suggestive or a questionative mentality.
It's asking for something, but in a way that puts the onus back on the person being asked, not yourself. So it's like, can I have a cup of coffee, or you know, do you have any coffee?
Yeah,
Is that what you're sort of saying?
Or
is that hinting at making someone do something?
It's more just the premise of some people will happily ask for something. Yeah. Whereas some people feel uncomfortable asking for something.
Oh, yes.
And the personality traits in different people can clash. If someone won't ask for something, I know that I can ask you for a cup of coffee in your house and you'll say yes, and you're the same. Yeah.
Or I'll say, you know where it is.
Yeah, exactly. But then there's the people that won't ask. If someone came over that you didn't really know that well, say Warwick brought a friend over. Yeah. And you're the suggestive type personality trait, and then they ask you, can I have a cup of coffee? Yeah. You're like, well, fucking who are you? You know? Yeah. Whereas you're like, it can seem abrupt because they might be an ask mentality where they don't care if you say, oh no, I haven't got any coffee. Yeah. That's an option that they're willing to accept. But there's certain people that won't ask for something unless they know.
Are they the same people that would, in that reverse situation, would offer a cup of coffee as well? They would ask, would you like a cup of coffee, or can I have a cup of coffee? Are they the same? Are they the same thing?
Similar. Is that? Oh man, I'll have to get up.
No, it makes sense. I know what you're saying, because I think I'm not like that. Whereas I won't ask for things unless, but I won't really. But unless someone else is sort of having one. Yeah. If that makes sense, I wouldn't. It's hard. I'd just rock up to someone's house with a coffee. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If I really wanted one, I'd just
go get one.
I'd think of one before. Yeah. But if I'm at someone's place, I feel like I'm at the total mercy of that person, unless it's probably a few exceptions would be your place or my parents' place where I just walk around like I own the joint.
Yeah, just grab whatever's there.
But anywhere else, it's, I don't know.
So you're more of a suggestive type personality type.
Maybe, yeah. I don't like people coming around here and just taking over.
Would you?
That makes sense.
Would you feel comfortable asking a relatively newly met person for something?
Depends what it is.
Would you say I brought a mate from work to golf?
Yeah.
And he had a new driver, and you were really keen on hitting it. Would you ask him for it, or would you? No, you'd wait until you knew the person well enough to say, "Hey,
Even said you've offered me to hit your clubs, and I won't hit anyone else's clubs because they're not mine. If that makes sense. I guess I'm really possessive over what's mine, but I have that same courtesy to other people. I wouldn't just grab and jump in someone's car and go take it because I would expect the same thing for me. Yeah, I think I'm really I'm not hypocritical on my boundaries. If I set a boundary for someone,
it's on yourself as well.
As on myself as well.
So I'm a little bit the opposite. I'm like, hey, if I can hit it, go for it, man.
Yeah, that's exactly you wouldn't care. Like I could go jump in your car now and be like that, and I don't like.
Why wouldn't you take my car for a drive?
I'm just weird on stuff like that because I wouldn't want to. That's where my inner monologue goes. Like, what happens if you crash? What is this? What is this? Da 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 da. Like, what if
mine does a million miles an hour thinking about all the outcomes that could happen? Yeah. It's fair enough. It was an interesting thought discussion that I saw the other day on Reddit.
On the flip too, like it's a stupid line from that Altered Carbon TV series where it's like, always take what's offered.
Yeah.
So if someone offers you something, you take it.
Yeah. Yep.
Because if they've ever gone to that much trouble to like how much internal monologue has to happen for someone to offer a cup of coffee? It's not just that person wants a coffee. It's there's a lot that goes on before. Like, how is that person? What's their relationship? Yeah. It's like, I feel like a coffee. Okay, well, like maybe they feel like a coffee.
Yeah. They want a coffee.
Or more, it's like, I feel like a coffee. Hey, do you feel like a coffee?
Yeah.
And if I'm in that situation, I used to get nervous and be like, oh no, it's okay. Like, no, like put it back on them. Like, oh, how dare you ask me that? Like, I'm getting defensive about it. But now I've changed and gone, okay, sure. Like, or someone at work, hey, do you want a can of Coke? And it costs money. I'll say yes. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but is this because you weren't deprived of stuff as a child, right?
Now you're getting real deep.
Yeah, but is it because of that? So I've had the same discussion with Tim, right? Tim's a pretty well off family, right? Privileged.
But see, that's the thing. I was privileged, but I didn't get everything that I got. Like, I didn't get everything I asked for.
Yeah, neither did I.
Not a chance.
Yeah, but like Tim's a trust fund kid, and he's in that exact same boat where I'd be like, I'd buy him a beer when we first met, and he'd get upset that I bought him a beer.
Oh, really?
Or like, even if I offered him, do you want me to buy you a scotch? He'd be like, no, man, it's okay. I can buy my own scotch. Like, whereas he's been in that same boat where you are now, where he's like, sure. Why don't I say yes? I want a scotch. He's offering me a scotch. I can just buy him one later if he wants me to buy him one. Like, what's the harm in saying yes to someone offering you something?
There's no tally. There's no like, I have to pay it back, or it's just cool. That person, I see it now as like, if that person's got that much effort to think about me, then sure, I should take them up on it because it's going to make them feel good. Yeah,
exactly.
I'll lavish in the being spoiled. And
what's a $2 can of Coke between mates?
That's right.
It's exactly that, So no, it's definitely something that I don't have trouble with it, and I don't know whether that's got anything to do with my internal monologue or my upbringing or what anything as a kid. Like, if my parents are like, "Hey, do you want Maccas?" I'm like, I got Maccas once a year when I was a kid, so I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" Like bring that Maccas on. I want a Big Mac, cheeseburger, a McChicken, 3 thick shakes.
It's interesting because like some people will go to that much effort to not be spoilt or like
some people just will not let you do it. Like, hey man, I'll get you a coffee while I'm out. Nah, it's okay. I'm going to the shop. Like, I'll get you a coffee. Sure? Like, you said you wanted a coffee before. I'll get you one while I'm like, I see it at work all the time with the guys on crew. I'm like, I'll get you a coffee. I'm going out. It's cool.
Oh no, so you don't have to, man. I know I don't have to, but I want to.
Did you say before that you were feeling a little bit down? Do you want me to get you a coffee or not? Like, I'm like, it's for both of us, not just for the person that I'm buying it for. Like, I feel good because I got to buy my mate a coffee. Like, that's great. Anytime I can help someone or,
See, to me, that's like a healthy example of an internal, I guess, a monologue, like, because all in it's just a description of what's happening around you, isn't it? Like your inner thoughts, because do you think in images or like words? Like, do you picture words in your head when you speak?
Images.
So when you're speaking, you see images?
Never dreamt with words or thought about words. I don't see words at all. I can close my eyes right now and see my bedroom. Yeah. Like, vividly.
Yeah.
But
you can see the chair in the corner of your room and what's on your bedside table and the colour of the knobs on the drawers. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see it like it's a picture.
Yeah.
But I've never thought about images about words in my head.
Yeah.
Do you see words in your head?
I've started to. So I've how I'm into my dreaming and stuff and like dream interpretations. I've been starting to get into, and one thing that it's synonymous with people is that like if they're dreaming about like having a phone, or there's something, words on a anywhere, a sign or something in their dreams, they can't read it.
Yeah.
I've started to lately.
Yeah, okay.
So, and I can remember what was on my phone, and I can like.
You see your phone in your dreams?
Yeah.
That's not a very common thing.
No, well, I mean, I look at my phone a lot, so.
Yeah.
But I use it in my dream. Like I'll call people in my dreams, and that's
okay.
how people appear. Or
yeah, right.
I might get a message or a Snapchat, or I'll be playing a video game.
Yeah.
It's only recently that sort of happened.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll see a lot of mirrors in my dream now, and actually see my reflection. Usually I have a bit nicer hair and stuff like that. But but it's weird, and not many people do it because. And lately, when I've been speaking, I've been trying to picture the words in my mind to speak a lot clearer.
Yeah, to articulate more.
Yeah, to be more articulate instead of just because when I'm thinking in my usual way of just images and like so okay, we're sitting here right now, but in my mind I'm also picturing it again. Yeah, if that makes sense. Yep. Whereas now I'm trying to focus on the words I say but be in the present moment. Yep. It makes no sense, but that's that. Yeah, okay. That's the only way I can describe it.
That's awesome, man. Different ways of thinking. Different ways of thinking are great. Like and the more I learn about. Especially with your venture into, deeper thoughts and stuff like that, it pushes me to sort of think a little bit different and change my perspective on certain things. And I feel like even just our discussions always come away from it with something a little bit different in mind and a different way to see the world, because you don't really get to have, like, the podcasts are great because you don't really get to have super really deep discussions with people. No. When do you ever just sit down one-on-one with a mate without a phone, without a screen, without a TV.
Absolutely never.
And just talk shit.
Never.
So...
On the golf course occasionally, like I played golf with a guy yesterday and he's really into this sort of stuff too. And I hit him up and said, mate, you'd be perfect for the podcast. He goes, oh, no, that's, it's embarrassing. I said, it's what we're doing now, just for the camera in front of you. Like,
and a couple of mics.
But you're 100% right, bro. Like a lot of people at work have asked me, like, why do you do the podcast? And it's for that exact reason. Yeah. You don't get to sit down and have a conversation.
It's never about getting views or anything like that. It's about having meaningful discussions with a friend that some people might find enjoyable. Yeah. Some people might think we're about our ass. But like, it's awesome to have a platform where
that's the good thing. You can hit pause and you can hit that little X button in the top right hand corner at any time, and we don't give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So
that's why I've been harping on to you so much lately. I'm like, mate,
I know.
Like, but we're doing it now, so it's all good.
That's good. And it's not that I never want to do the podcast or
I know, bro.
Emotionally unavailable. Just had a big couple of weeks with work and that, so
I understand that.
Busy. But it's always awesome when we get to sit down and have a good chat. So and like I said, I'm bad for it. I can't sit still and not look at my phone or play a computer game or watch TV or whatever it might be. I've always got to have something. I'm really bad for it. So us being able to sit down and have meaningful discussions and speak about shit. I think the only other real time we get to do it is playing board games. So, so it's awesome for me to just be able to sit down and have a chat.
It's good to have an environment where we can do it and, have a bit of a think tank and think about life, man. And
it's a crazy world we live in. Like, and some people just go about their day without even thinking about stuff. Like,
we take it for granted that life's happening to us. And
you only ever really think about shit after it's finished. So
that's us.
That's us done. Anyway, camera's died.
But that's all right.
Yeah, no, I'm appreciative. And
definitely, bro.
Sit down, mate.
Hopefully next week we'll have Trav on there. Yeah. Another person I've been speaking to is Brad Younger, man. I was speaking to him. Yeah. Like, get him. Like, he's doing some good things with music at the moment, man. Like, I think he's really underrated for what he's doing at the moment. Like, he's doing some cool shit.
Yeah, definitely, man. I've listened to a few of his tracks. He's doing
like Bradford said he'd come on as well. Like, he's doing some really positive stuff at the moment, man. Like, he is on a crazy positive train. Like, it's overpowering how positive that dude is at the moment. So, and that's the kind of people we want on, man. We just want different perspectives. Like you said, like, I've got a different way of looking at the world. Yeah. You've got a different way. Together we paint a masterpiece, like.
Yeah, and there's no right or wrong way to do anything in life,
Yeah, correct.
So, being able to sit down and talk with some different minds and see how they picture the world is always eye-opening, so.
Good shit. Love you, bro.
Love you too, bud.
Coronavirus fist bump.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for watching. As per usual, do all that stuff. Like, follow, subscribe, notification bells.
Hit us up with some comments. Let us know if there's any topics that you guys think that you want us to elaborate more on, if we say anything that you like the sound of, or there's anything that you want to contribute or yourself.
Roast us. We don't care. Have some fun.
Give me some shit. All for it. But thanks so much for tuning in, guys.
Love yous. Peace.
Peace.